Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Netflix's Lock and Key, based on the very well loved comic book, graphic novel, trade paperbacks now. Still a version of it out there right now. I saw it at the comic book shop today. And so I was super excited. Super excited for this. I never read the books though, but I'd heard so many good things about it and I had looked into it a little bit to be more than just a little bit enthused. And like I said, since I don't do episode to episode reviews on these things, I binged it today on my day off. Boy, was that a mistake in retrospect. But once I started watching it, I was committed to watching to the end of this show. And like I said, I've never read the comic, but I did read the entire synopsis of this on Wikipedia. Not the show, the book. And then I went by my local comic book shop today and I grabbed a couple of the trades, the first two trades that this is based off of, basically. And I looked through it after I'd seen like the first 5 episodes, just to see like if anything matches up. Some of it does. A whole lot of it doesn't. So yeah, I don't recommend this show. Let's get that right out of the way. Okay? If you don't look, there's going to be an audience for this. There's going to be people that are going, oh my god, I love it, I love it, I love it. And that's fine. If you like this, great. Because this is produced by Carlton Cuse. And some people like his stuff. Bates Motel has a big fan base. Other things that he's done. Not everything that he's done I dislike. I did like a good, Lost is one of those things. But it wasn't just Carlton Cuse that was doing Lost. And some people don't like Lost anymore either. But since he's been doing his own thing, I find more likely, more than not, that I don't really care for his stuff. But like I said, if there's going to be an audience for this, if you don't really care, if you like a lot of stuff on the CW, that kind of thing, if you like Bates Motel's kind of way of telling stories, you're probably going to like this. Man, I think I forgot to turn my headphones off. I can hear this guy screaming behind me. There we go. So, anyway. There are some pros to this show, okay? There were some pros to this show. I didn't dislike really many of the actors. There are some really bad actors on this show. Really bad actors. But for the most part, like the 2 main kids in this, I thought were all right. Connor Jessup as Tyler Locke. Emilia Jones as Kinsey Locke were fine. Their mom, played by Darby Stanchfield, was fine. Stephen Williams from X-Files fame is in this for a few episodes. It's always great to see that guy. The youngest son, though, on the other hand, oh boy, there was times where he was fine, but man, when they dialed up the annoying, did they really dial up the annoying? I'm not going to pick on the kid or anything. I just didn't care for him very much. There's a guy named Rufus. There's a character named Rufus in here. That actor is really bad. Almost all of the side characters were really bad. The guy who played Sam Lesser in this was terrible. The guy, Ellie was, she was okay. She's played by Sherry Som, who's been in a bunch of stuff. The character of Dodge, played by Laisla de Oliveira, she was alright. She's chewing scenery. She's being the big bad. That's really the pros. And the other pro is that this show has a lot of interesting ideas. When they're actually doing stuff with the keys that are the big part of this show, right? The main part of the show is finding these keys that are all over this house, that unlock doors with all sorts of different powers and take you to all different places and can do different things to you. That stuff is all really good. It's all really good. It's all really imaginative. It's produced well. It looks good. I really dug that stuff. The problem is that there wasn't enough of that. That should have just been the show. But the writers, mostly from Carlton Cuse writing some of the episodes, to the main Meredith Averill, and people like Aaron Eli Collette, Michael D. Fuller, Elizabeth Ann Fang, Vanessa Rojas. Not good writing. Not good writing, guys. This is some awful writing. The characterization of these characters is awful as well. I have a feeling, like, comic books aren't, always, for the most part, Shakespeare, right? They're not freaking David Mamet. They're not Quentin Tarantino, okay? They're comic books. But the writing in this is just god awful. It's not even CW bad, man. Like, this is just really, really, really awful writing. The dialogue that comes out of these people's mouths is cringy. It's like, adults writing for teenagers that they would never know, like, half the things that are coming out of their mouths. Everybody's suddenly, it's like Williamson from that wrote Scream. Everybody's super cool and super, like, into things that teenagers just wouldn't be following, man. Like the 1%. They were like, all of a sudden the entire town's filled with a bunch of really niche, cool, nouveau people that know things like Tom Savini from Dawn of the Dead. They talk about how their town is this like dinky place, but has these like this all anytime it needs it to have. There's like, oh, this nowhere do nothing town's got a brand new Italian restaurant and a great art house cinema. Man, I live in a small town, and we don't have anything like that. It's just fitting for the plot. It's just like the Bates Motel town, right? Where just everything is just this little quaint quiche, neat little just town where all the stores look like they're renovated homes at one point. Pretty people everywhere. This whole show is just pretty people central. The only people that look normal are very small roles as side characters. One of the problems is like picking a music. It can't decide if it wants to have a score or a soundtrack. Every once in a while I get caught up in the music, which was really good. The score for the show is actually really good. But then they'll throw on some pop song in the middle of out of nowhere that just totally takes me out of it, because I'm just like, what the fuck is that doing there? What's the point of that? Like, they're trying to get the younger audience to watch this show, and it's like, I don't think you need that. I don't think you need that, but just like they don't need all the filler that's in here. All right? All the love interests and I want this boy to like me and I want this girl to like me, and it's like, dude, you're finding keys that unlock your brain. You can go inside your own head. Why would you be worried about anything else? Why would you be thinking about anything else? If you can find a key that opens a door to anywhere, why would you go, well, I'm bored with this now. Let me go check my Instagram so I can see this girl that I like. I'd be going through every door, going to millions of different places. When they find out that they can use a key to go inside their own heads and look at their old memories, how would you not just be doing that the whole time? Instead of like, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta go into my room and think wistfully about the girl that I like, or wonder some more about what my dad was really like. It's just all this stupid crap that they throw in here when they're not looking for the key stuff that is just jammed in here to make this 10 episodes. They could have done this in like 5 or 6 if they just stuck to like the regular story. Because when I looked through the trade paperbacks of this book, it was all about the keys, just about. And none of this extra crap. So it's like, this show could be great. This show could be amazing. But they throw it, they make it mediocre at best by adding all these elements to shows that you can see anywhere else. It does not it takes away from the standout things that are actually going on. And you know, like another new in school story. They just had another show called October Faction on Netflix that does the exact same fucking thing, where parents take their kids, uproot them from somewhere to take them to a place where there's a mystery going on, and you know they spend the whole time being, you know, saying things that are way too clever for most teenagers, talking about things from 30 years ago that teenagers don't know. It's just so freaking tedious. I mean, I wrote down so many notes, like, you know, this guy Scott that meets the girl Kinsey at the beginning, and he just immediately tells her, like, on their second meeting, "You're not boring." Like, he knows her. It's like, you don't even know her. It's like, fuck off, love interest. Who talks about Tom Savini like these kids would know who Tom Savini is? The makeup effects artist and the special effects guy from Dawn of the Dead. Adults writing too clever stuff for teenagers happens so much. This is like Dawson's Creek writing. This is like Williamson's writing. I mean, there's a person who says lock, stock, and two smoking titties. A character says that. Like, that character would even know lock, stock, and two smoking barrels to make that line up. He's like, these kids are like 15. Do you know how many people, like, I asked somebody just recently when I was talking about The Gentleman, and I said, oh, you know, the guy who made Snatch. The person looked at me like they didn't know what I was talking about. I said, you know, lock, stock, and two smoking barrels. They just looked at me like, what are you talking about? These are people old enough to know, and they don't even know. So I'm supposed to expect that some fucking kid in BF nowhere knows about lock, stock, and two smoking barrels to make a joke that's lock, stock, and two smoking titties? Fuck off, show. Then you got that Rufus kid who's like, I'm Rufus. And I'm like, no, man, you're a bad actor is what you are. He's supposed to pretend that, you know, he's supposed to be acting like he's got kind of a mental problem. He's like slow. And he can't even do that. It's awful. And I know I'm ranting, but I can't help it. This is just not good. Yeah, they let a kid with difficulties handle responsibility for all this potentially lethal stuff around their house. He takes care of the property, and he's got bear traps in his hands. Are you fucking kidding me? The character of Kinsey, the girl, she's an alright actress, but for some reason, every time she's walking around, she's got tears in her eyes. Everywhere you go, you look at her, and she's just like 1 second away from crying. Like, literally 1 second away from crying. And that can't all just be because of the way they shoot it. Stephen Williams, like I wrote, is in here. You know, he's one of those guys who gives you the cryptic information and then lets you wait 6 episodes to figure out what the fuck that meant. Tom Savini actually shows up in this because why not? You know, what's Tom Savini doing? He has a cameo as the local hardware store owner, where his hardware store is one of those little nice, artisan like hardware stores that you see in these quaint little small, seaside towns where every business looks like it was the inside of a home at one point. And it's just, I said that earlier, but I'm saying it again. Just like, oh, God, it makes me want to throw up. It's just like Bates Motel all over again. It's like gag me with a fucking spoon. Every business looks like a home turned into a store. That's what I wrote. There's Don't Do Crazy Mind Stuff. Now let's go into another room to check. Yeah. Like I wrote down, they do this crazy mind stuff, and then they just immediately go into the other room and like they check in their Instagram. You were just inside your brother's own head. You could have done all sorts of cool stuff down there and messed around and all that stuff, and no. And this is what it feels like when a bad writer is on a comic you like. Like if you know that this comic is good and you're like, oh, right. And then they say, hey, this new writer's coming in. And you don't really know anything about it. And you pick it up and you go, oh, God. And then you get to the next issue and it's the same thing. And you're like, oh, my God. All right, what else did I write? There was a moment where I thought maybe this could be kind of cool. There's a scene where a character throws a child in front of a train, in front of a moving train, a young teenager. He's like 10 or 12 maybe. And this lady opens up a door to a train, like subway train, and the kid just gets thrown in there and immediately run over by a train. I went, okay, show, you're showing me something here. But those moments, and I know I'm saying that I was happy that a kid got ran over by a train, but what I mean is, like, why I was happy about that is it was dark. It was a dark thing in this, like, TV 14 show, okay? There's no shits, and, well, there's a few shits, but there's no fucks and assholes and things like that. But no, there's barely anything really that's good in there. There's like a line where it's like, we don't know if it was the keys. The keys are why Dad left at the house. He didn't want to come to this place, and it's like, it's the only thing that matters. That's the other thing. Another thing about this show is they're just so incompetent. The characters are so incompetent. Everything that you are like you can see in this show, I was yelling at the screen going, what are you talking about? It's right there in front of you. People that just stand there frozen in fear just because the plot says don't. Anything that any normal person would do, they don't do because the plot wants to do it. They don't. This show doesn't care about the characters. It's all plot driven. So anything that needs to happen, it just happens because plot. So I don't know what else to say about this because there's like, even the ending, man, the end is supposedly over 17 minutes in, so you know you got like 22 minutes left of the finale, and you just go, oh, well, I'm pointing out, oh, that's going to happen, and this is going to happen, and that's who got this, and this is who's going to turn out to be that, and it's all right there telegraphed, but you got to spend another 22 minutes of the finale waiting for them to tell me the things that I already knew. There's so many more things that I could probably just gripe on about, but if you like characters, this is not a good show for you. If you like good writing and good dialogue, this is not a good show for you. If you just want to sit there and mindlessly tune out, you're probably going to like it. If you like Bates Motel and you thought it was like the bee's knees, you're probably going to like it. If you just don't give a shit and you just watch shows, you know, for the pure escapism of it and you just the pure mindlessness of it, then you're probably going to like it. And I hope that doesn't sound too insulting. It's just because not everybody has to be like a reviewer, like a critic. But when I watch stuff like this, especially stuff that I was excited about and thinking, how do you screw this up? It sounds like you can't screw it up. And then you screw it up this bad. And then, and not just this bad, but then to show me all this really, really cool stuff that you could have had in here. That the show could have just been about this. Cut out all that fat of stupid ass relationship stuff that doesn't have any point in this. Goes nowhere, means nothing in the end. And so I won't be back for season 2. They completely set up a season 2, just in case anybody thought that there wouldn't be. Maybe, you know, and like I said, I don't think that this show is going to get canceled or anything. I think that this show will live on, probably at least for 1 or 2 seasons, because Netflix just continues to like to write these blank checks and do whatever. They got Carlton Cuse to make a show for them, you know. They have the rights to Bates Motel, and they're like, well, people like his stuff, so let's just let him do whatever the fuck he wants. And this is what you get. And like I said, there's an audience for this. But man, if you really like good stuff, if you really like good comic book stuff, I guess watch The Umbrella Academy. That was pretty good. Watch reruns of, you know, like go back and rewatch Daredevil. You know, you can't go wrong with Daredevil. But you can skip this. You can completely skip this because this is just wasted potential. Wasted freaking potential. And so, anyway, if you happen to like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. You can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video, man. Sheesh. Bye.